I never thought I would get involved in someone else's problem. My life was simple. Work all day, come home, make tea, and sit by the window of my small apartment. From that window, I could see everything happening outside in our quiet street. That's when I first noticed them. Two men in expensive suits, polished shoes, black car, cold expressions. They weren't from our area, that much was obvious. And they kept visiting my neighbor, Mr. Kareem. Mr. Johnny was a quiet, old man. Lived alone. Always polite. Fed stray cats every evening. Never caused trouble. But these two bankers? They came almost every day. At first, they spoke calmly. Then their tone changed. I couldn't hear every word from my window, but I could see enough. Finger pointing. Angry gestures. Kareem's trembling hands. One evening, it got worse. They were standing right outside his gate. "You can't delay this anymore," one of them shouted. Mr. Johnny's voice was shaking. "Please, just give me a little more time." Time? For what? Debt? Loan? Fraud? My mind started creating stories. The next day they returned, this time knocking aggressively. I saw one of them push the gate open slightly. That's when I stepped outside. "Is everything okay?" I asked, trying to sound calm. Both men turned toward me. Sharp eyes. Judging eyes. "This is private bank business," one of them said coldly. "Please stay out of it." Private bank business. That confirmed it in my head. They were harassing him over money. After they left, I walked to Mr. Johnny's house. He was sitting on his porch, staring at the ground. "Are you all right?" I asked gently. He forced a weak smile. "I'm fine. Just some paperwork issues." Paperwork issues don't make grown men tremble. For the next few days I kept watching. Every visit became more intense. Once, I even heard one banker say, "If you don't cooperate, we will take action." Take action? Against an old man? That night I couldn't sleep. Something didn't feel right. So I did something I normally would never do. I followed them. When they left Kareem's house the next afternoon, I got into my car and kept a safe distance behind their black sedan. They didn't go to some random office. They drove to the largest bank building in the city. That surprised me. If they were simple debt collectors, why were they coming directly from a major bank headquarters? I parked across the street and waited. After 20 minutes, something happened that made my heart skip. Mr. Johnny walked into the same building. But he wasn't trembling. He wasn't scared. He was walking straight, confident, like someone who belonged there. That's when doubt entered my mind for the first time. Was I wrong about everything? The next morning, something happened that completely shattered my assumptions. A luxury car, far more expensive than the banker's, stopped in front of Mr. Johnny's house. And the driver stepped out, wearing the exact same bank's executive badge. But this time he greeted Mr. Johnny with respect. Deep respect. I stood frozen at my window. Who exactly was my quiet, trembling neighbor? And why were those two bankers really visiting him? That was the moment I realized I had only seen half the story. I couldn't take my eyes off the scene outside. The luxury car's engine was still running. The driver, a sharply dressed man in his late 40s, stepped forward and slightly bowed his head. Yes, bowed. To Johnny, the same man who had been trembling just days ago. "Sir, the board is waiting for you," the man said respectfully. Board? My mind raced. Mr. Johnny glanced around nervously, almost as if he was afraid someone was watching. I quickly stepped back from the window, but curiosity won. I moved closer again, just enough to hear. "There has been pressure," the executive continued carefully. "The auditors are asking questions." Mr. Kareem sighed deeply. "I expected this," he replied. His voice was calm now, strong, completely different from before. This wasn't the voice of a helpless old man. This was the voice of someone used to authority. The car door opened for him. And just like that, they left. I stood there in silence. Who was my neighbor? That evening, the two bankers returned again. But this time, something had changed. They weren't shouting. They weren't pointing fingers. They looked tense, almost nervous. I watched as they handed Mr. Kareem a folder. He flipped through the papers slowly. Then something unbelievable happened. He tore one page in half. Right in front of them, both bankers froze. "You have misunderstood your position," Johnny said quietly. Even from my window, I could feel the power in his voice. One of the bankers swallowed hard. "Sir, we were only following instructions." "Instructions," Kareem repeated. "Or ambition?" Silence. Heavy silence. After a few seconds, the bankers nodded stiffly and left without another word. No shouting. No threats. Just submission. That was the moment I knew. This wasn't about debt. This wasn't about harassment. This was something far bigger. The next day, everything exploded. News vans, reporters, cameras. Our quiet street was flooded with media. I rushed outside. A reporter was speaking live. Shocking developments inside the city's largest financial institution. Sources reveal that a secret internal investigation has been underway for months. My heart pounded. Internal investigation? Then I heard the name. Senior founding board member Kareem Hassan. Founding board member? Johnny? The gentle old man feeding stray cats? The reporter continued. 2 senior bankers are now under review for alleged misconduct involving unauthorized asset transfers and manipulation of client accounts. My stomach dropped. Unauthorized transfers. Manipulation. That's when everything connected. They weren't harassing him. They were afraid of him. Mr. Kareem wasn't their victim. He was their judge. The trembling hands? An act. The delays? A trap. He had been watching them, testing them, gathering evidence. And those heated arguments I witnessed? They weren't threats toward him. They were desperate attempts to convince him to stay silent. But he didn't. That evening, as the sun set, I saw him sitting on his porch again, calm, feeding the cats like always, as if nothing had happened.
He walked over slowly.
"You could have told me," I said quietly. He smiled. "If I had told you," he replied gently, "you wouldn't have seen the truth for yourself." I hesitated. "Were you ever in danger?" He looked toward the street where the news vans had been parked hours earlier. "Power," he said softly, "reveals people. It doesn't change them." Then he added something I'll never forget. "The real harassment wasn't what you saw." I frowned. "Then what was it?" He looked at me with eyes full of quiet wisdom. "It was their fear of being exposed." And that was the shocking truth. The quiet neighbor I thought was a victim was the most powerful man on our street. I thought it was over. I was wrong. 3 days after the news broke, the street was quiet again.
No reporters. No cameras.
Just the usual evening breeze and the sound of stray cats gathering near Mr. Johnny's porch. But something felt different. A black SUV parked at the corner of our street. Not moving. Not leaving. Just waiting. I watched from behind my curtain. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. Finally, 2 men stepped out. Not the same bankers. These men looked heavier. More serious.
No polished smiles. No briefcases.
They walked straight toward Mr. Johnny's house. My heart started pounding again. Had the scandal grown bigger? I stepped outside casually, pretending to check my mailbox. The men knocked once. Mr. Johnny opened the door almost immediately, like he was expecting them. One of the men spoke quietly, but I caught a few words. "Sir, this has gone higher than we thought." "Higher? There are names involved," the man continued. "Big names." Mr. Johnny didn't look surprised. He simply nodded. "I assumed as much." The second man leaned closer. "If you continue, it won't just be careers at risk." A pause. "It could become personal." A chill ran down my spine. Was that a warning or a threat? Mr. Johnny straightened his back. "For 30 years, he said calmly, I protected that institution from greed. I will not stop now." The men exchanged looks. One of them sighed. "Then security will be increased." Security? That night, I saw something I had never seen before. A plain car parked outside his house. Engine off. Lights off. But someone inside. Watching. The next morning, I couldn't hold my curiosity anymore. I walked over with 2 cups of tea. He was already awake, watering his small plants. "You're not just a board member, are you?" I asked carefully. He smiled faintly. "I was one of the founders," he replied. Founder. That word carried weight. "The bank was small when we started," he continued. "We believed in trust, in protecting ordinary people." He looked at me directly. "But power attracts wolves." The 2 bankers weren't acting alone. That's what he meant. This was bigger than misconduct. It was corruption at the top. "Why act weak before?" I asked. He gave a soft chuckle. "Because greedy men reveal themselves when they think you're powerless." Suddenly, a car sped down our street. Too fast. Way too fast. It slowed near his house, then drove off. Both of us noticed. Neither of us spoke. That evening, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I hesitated, then answered. A low voice spoke. "You live next door to Karim Hassan." It wasn't a question. My throat tightened. "Who is this?" "Stay out of matters that don't concern you." The call ended. My hands were shaking. This wasn't just his fight anymore. They knew I had been watching. That night, there were no cats on his porch.